Hey guys, it's Dan from ShastaBubba Adventures, and I'm out here at the beginning of a new hike. I'm at Gibson Reservoir on the eastern side of the Bob Marshall Wilderness, and I got to the trailhead in good time and was just about to pick up my pack and start going down the trail, and a kindly gentleman came up on a four-wheeler and let me know that they're doing blasting on the trail and wouldn't be likely to let me through. So, change of plans. I can certainly understand the need to do blasting on this trail because there's a very narrow rocky patch where it's difficult to pass even a hiker, and there's a lot of horse traffic on this trail. So probably really need to be doing that work. Unfortunately, there's no signs or any notice that that's going on. So here's a good lesson, is to be flexible in your plans, and thankfully I did bring a larger map of the area, so I'm gonna plan a different hike and I'll let you know what that is as soon as I figure it out. Trail I'm thinking of going on would follow this valley. Okay, well, after about an hour and a half of driving around and exploring, I've come up with a new plan. This behind me, I believe, is Renshaw Creek, and I'm going to head up that to a place called Fairview Plateau. How can you go wrong with a name like that, right? And that's only about 5.5 miles, but I'm hoping to keep going beyond that and work my way eventually to a place called Renshaw Lake. And that might be a long shot because it's at 7,000 feet, and this being the first weekend of June, might be full of snow. So we will see. It's been drought conditions in March and April in Montana, so it's possible that I might be able to get up there. I'm gonna try for it, and whatever I see, I see. And I gotta tell you, I'm not all that bummed about this because the trail I had been planning to hike, I've been on many times and no mystery there. This is completely new and unexpected. So that's pretty fun for me. So come on along, let's go. Edge of the mountains is known as the Rocky Mountain Front, or just the front to locals. And one of the oddities of the front is very checkered land ownership. So when you think that you step off into the wilderness right from the trailhead, a lot of times that's not the case. It's several miles until you get to actual designated wilderness. So we might be hiking along a fence line or past a couple of seasonal cabins, which always make me wonder how cool would it be to have a seasonal cabin right on the edge of the Bob.
Wish it was easy every day. I'd like that better. Wish you'd forgotten what to say. That's not your kind. So I pick apart my time, never asking why. I'm always in so many pieces, and it's my fault.
Well, the trail's getting pretty treacherous as I get into some shaded tree-covered areas, and not too sure how much farther I can go if it stays like this. Well, the post holing is getting up over my calves, almost to my knees, so I think that means this might be about as far as I go. It's also getting harder to figure out where the trail is going, and I think it's going up over a nasty mountain just behind those trees. So that doesn't look very likely that I'm going to accomplish that today. But it's pretty cool to get this far. Now that I've climbed back up into the pass, I can see more clearly that the trail probably follows this drainage over here up over that shoulder, and then Renfield Lake would be right behind that mountain there. And you can see how treed it is, so that probably would have been post holing the whole way, and it would have lost another 200 feet elevation and gained 9,000. So I think I probably made the right choice to turn back when I did. Well, I made it back to the truck at about 6 o'clock, and it was a little too late to drive home, so I just drove a few miles to this campground that I knew about before. It's the Double Falls campground, which happens to be a free campground, so I'm just going to sleep in the back of the truck tonight, and that should be nice and cozy. All alone here. So all in all, it's turning out pretty good. Even though I made it back to the truck, probably in plenty of time, I could have made it home tonight. There was no way I was skipping camping out, because the day before I was leaving on this trip, I got this in the mail. My brand new Enigma quilt from Enlightened Equipment. Isn't that a beauty? It is a 0-degree quilt with a 950 fill power, and I am so stoked to try it out. Well, first night done in the new Enlightened Equipment Enigma quilt, and it was pretty cozy. Got down to about 38 last night, not quite freezing, but yeah, wasn't cold at all. I'm only wearing the polypro bottoms and this light fleece top. Didn't have my puffy on or my down pants that I brought along, which is pretty unusual for that temperature for me. So looks good to start with. Just as I was packing up to leave, it starts raining, so that made me pretty happy that I decided to come back and sleep in the truck instead of being out and having to pack up camp in this rain, much less having to hike back in it. So I can't wait to make a dedicated video to tell you all about the changes that have been made to the Enlightened Equipment Enigma and tell you what I think about those. That'll be coming soon. And even though things turned out a lot different than the plans that I had made, this was a fun trip for me. I really can't get enough of being out here in the Bob, especially this front country. It's just awesome, and I love any opportunity to experience it. So fun for me. Hope it was fun for you too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.
Get along, little doggy. Get along with